I mean, we've been here a year and we haven't hardly covered any of this map.
This map, this Isle of Dread map, is larger than like the standard Ravenlands map. Actually, before we actually start the game, this is. Let's move everybody over to this quickly.
Ooh.
So this is the map for their new the new adventure, the new campaign. So as you can see, it's not like super big, but there's a bunch of stuff in it.
Oh, it's big enough.
It's a pretty map.
Yeah, it is. Is this something we're going to be playing?
At some point, I might start like another campaign. And then this is their like the world map as it exists so far with the 3 campaigns that they have out.
Do like their mountains.
They do. Well, part of it is because the world is kind of segregated by the mountains. So, like, when you play through the first campaign, oh, geez, what's it called? Raven's Purge. That's set in Ravenlands, and then if you want to use the same party to go through Bitter Reach, that's the northern region, and there's like some passes that open up so that the characters can adventure up there, and then the same with the Blood Reach, or the Blood March. But yeah, I was like, huh, new stuff, neat. And the books are like amazing quality.
Of course.
Free League puts out really high quality stuff. For like such a relatively small publishing company, they really put out quality products.
Yeah, Urban Ops is the box set that I got was amazing. Like the maps, the feel of the book, everything's perfect.
Yeah, and I love the fact that they do box sets. Like even Forbidden Lands, even though it's like 2 hardcover books, it came in a box set. All right, so this is session 45 of our particular Forbidden Lands game.
Nice.
Where you guys are finally, after trials and tribulations and meeting some dwarves and fighting some Saurians and driving them away and various things, you have finally made it to this the Sorcerer's Tower, where you were told that if you bring or retrieve the black heart of the sorceress, the tower and all it contains are yours. So it's taken you a good while to get here. She's probably 6-ish sessions, I want to say, maybe more. Met some friendly-ish Death Knights. Broke several suits of armor. But you're finally here. And this tower is massive. It stretches miles high. It is improbable for this tower to exist. It appears to be made of ice or glass, glistening in the sun. Outside the entrance, the only entrance that you found, you discovered a pendant with a small figure of a raven on it, or a crow on it, a skeletal crow. And when this item was activated, the little skeletal crow came to life into a normal-sized skeletal crow, and around its neck it had a key on a chain that when you touched it to the doorway opened into this large room strewn with bones, with a large double staircase that leads upwards. And as you kind of took this in, these 2 vulture-like creatures kind of coalesced out of the still air, and demanded your invitation. And I believe that is where we left off.
Do we have anything that's like an invitation?
Oh no, I think this is an invasion. You're gonna have to wing this one.
All right, I'll ask the bird if it has an invitation.
One of the birds kind of looks at the other one.
I'll ask the skeleton bird, I meant.
Oh, Argento?
Correct.
Says, nope.
Do we need one?
Maybe the crow is the invitation.
Oh, well, I will go up to the birds and I will say, well, we don't have an invitation per se, but I think the master or the mistress really wants to see us. We've been hearing dreams and experiencing a calling that brings us here. Perhaps you could consult with the landowners and express that we're down here and we're compelled to come and describe us to them. Perhaps they will understand more behind this than we do. It's a bit of a mystery to us. And I don't know if that's manipulation or performance.
You're asking to see the manager?
I'm asking them to talk to the boss and see why we were called.
They kind of like shuffle around and kind of take up a position between the two of them, completely blocking off the stairwell. Like, show us our invitation and you can go upstairs.
What's an invitation look like?
They kind of look at each other. And one of them looks and says, and addresses the other one and says, "Knocktrop, what does an invitation look like?" And then the one that was addressed goes, "Well, an invitation is a formal agreement that allows people to enter an abode. Usually signed by the person issuing the invitation. You should know that, Grumus." And Grumus is like, "I know that, but apparently this little ugly one does not know that."
Well, some are on cardstock and they're printed with stamps. Some of them are handwritten with nice calligraphy. Some are just common invitations sent verbally. And that's the kind I think we have. I think we were the one, they sent us dreams to say, come here. I mean, it's not like we would have found this place out here without being compelled or being called, right?
Interesting. But if you do not have an invitation, we cannot allow you up the stairs.
All right, I know what we can do.
You can give us an invitation.
Exactly. Be 1 second. And I'll go stand behind Desi, and I will take out a piece of parchment and my pen, and I will write up a brief invitation and a little map from I guess the main village that we first landed on to here. Just super sketchy with the arrows pointing along the way with a couple of notes of landmarks, not the ones we've created ourselves, just ones that would already be there. And I'll sign and I'll say come at once, and then I'll look around. Is there a little symbol or something like here that I could recognize? Some sort of icon? Maybe there was one at the door. If so, I will put that under the come at once.
There was. It was like an iridescent eye.
Okay, so I'll sketch that there, and I'll go blow on it to dry the ink real fast. Shake it up a little bit, fold it up, put it in my pocket. walk back from behind Desi, and I know these guys are watching it, but I'm kind of hoping that they're just kind of, like we need to express the formalities. And I'll
It's a
pull it out of my
flight plan.
pocket, unfold it, and I'll hand it to one of them.
Can I do
Will this
something while? Can I do something while he's doing all that?
Oh, please do.
Sure.
I hope so, because Desi, yeah.
Can I do either a lore or an insight to see is there any kind of legends about this tower to try to figure out what this invitation could be? If it's something more than an actual piece of paper or something like that?
Yes. Actually, why don't you give me an insight roll and a lore roll?
While he's doing that, Desi's going to be just kind of looking from one of these creatures to the other and kind of smiling and nodding uncomfortably. Hey, yeah, hi.
So,
Big tower you got here.
Shame if something happened to it.
Just trying to be kind of a nonchalant wall of don't look behind
I'm
me.
already down 2 of my 4 wits. I'm not going to risk it, so I'm not going to push any of these.
Okay. Yeah, so these creatures are very hard to read. They're definitely not humans, but they definitely have like an intellect and stuff. They seem to be uncomfortable in their bodies. You can pick that up easy enough. Other than that, nothing else comes to mind. Right. So one of them kind of reaches out like this little kind of like skeletal birdie hand, and like Trevor pointed out last week, they're very similar to like the Skeetus from Dark Crystal. Kind of like takes it, kind of unfolds it, reaches into like this dirty pocket, pulls out like a little pair of like opera glasses sort of things. And
My handwriting is immaculate, by the way.
And why doesn't Caldy? Why doesn't Caldy give me a manipulation roll?
I
oh
will
no,
totally
Colin.
push that.
Oh no,
Oh
Colin.
no, that sucked.
So it's looking at it. It's like, well, this obviously did not come from the mistress. What is your intent here?
Conversation. I assume that she has a task for us, or else we would have been compelled to come.
I doubt she sent you for you.
Maybe it's one of her assistants. She seems to have very clever, intelligent, and forward-thinking assistants. So perhaps another entity here sent the invite.
They kind of
I know for a fact it was written here in this tower.
We have no doubt of that. The mistress has no servants other than ourselves. We certainly didn't send the invitation. We can't help but feel that you're somehow trying to lie to us.
I would never think of such a thing. And I'll wink.
Demon. Trustee says probably in the deepest shadow he can find, hood down, staring, at the floor as opposed to at the demon. Your mistress will want to speak to us. You can let us pass, or we can go through you. It would be easier for you to bring her here.
That's not possible. No, sorry, Bob.
Why not?
She's still alive?
Our job is to make sure that uninvited people do not go up the stairs.
Right, but we're not asking to go up the stairs. We're asking you to bring your mistress down.
We're not invited upstairs.
Oh, that's gotta suck. So, how do you know that she's still up there?
Haven't seen her come down.
Well, yeah, but she's like a sorceress, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, magic lets people do things other than walk downstairs to get from one place to another, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, we didn't walk.
And maybe she's got harpies or some flying thingies up there that can fly her around to wherever she wants to go.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe she hasn't been home for years.
Perhaps. And if you had an accurate invitation, or were at least truthful in your intent, you could go and find out.
Well,
I mean,
if you wish, Desi, you can speak our intent, or should I?
well, my thought was that it was probably better for somebody to go upstairs and see if she's there than to bring the upstairs down to see if she's there. What's your intent?
My intent was just truthfully say that there is a threat to their mistress's life, and that she should be warned about said threat.
He's not talking about me. Right? You're not talking about me, are you?
No. We do find it amusing that you think we care about her.
Care might be
You
a strong
don't care about your mistress? What would happen if your mistress left with us? Could she free you?
Oh, we can only wish.
And what would happen if you were free?
Oh, we would leave. We have been here for lifetimes, trapped in these bodies, mummified, bid to guard the stairwell.
Are you cursed?
Curse is a strong word, but
Because-
probably accurate.
I will swear to you and upon anything that you wish me to swear upon, and this is the straight truth. My goal here is to end curses.
That's interesting. They kind of look at one another, and they start to talk back and forth in this kind of like cackling, hissing sound. It's
Insight help me?
you can make an insight roll.
Well, he's rolling that, Chris. Are they alive?
No,
No. Okay.
they are demons.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Coldy, as they discuss things in whatever languages, and it's like painful to your ears to listen to, like it kind of burrows into your brain. This kind of like hissing, chittering, guttural sound. But they talk amongst themselves, and then they kind of look over, and then they go back to talking amongst themselves. Judging from their body language, they seem slightly hopeful, maybe. Then they kind of turn back. If you can remove curses, perhaps it is something perhaps that is why the mistress sent you this invitation.
That would make perfect sense.
In which case, I suppose you should probably make your way upstairs.
You've been most dutiful. The mistress has chosen the right guards for the staircase.
We will see.
What just happened?
So I'm just going to start walking through. Doo-doo. If they part and let me pass, I'm going to continue on up.
They do part way.
What you waiting for, boys?
Okay.
They kind of like give a little nod and a little bow as you guys pass through. Like, good luck.
Well, I didn't expect that one.
Hopefully you can deal with this curse. We thank you for your service. And one of them's like, "That's not what you say." It's like, "Oh, too late. I said it now."
I like these two.
I'll try to help them after we've spoken with the mistress.
Maybe we'll keep them.
We will not.
All right.
So you make your way up these stairs, and the stairs go up a ways. It is a long staircase, and it seems to kind of like double back on itself, like switchbacks almost. And you lose track of how many stairs you go up.
Oh, come on, Ryzen. You can make it.
I hate leg day.
Come on, big guy.
Aldi's not liking this at all.
We've been walking across the whole island. Every day is leg day. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but these are stairs. Uphill has more resistance. It's not like walking across a flat surface.
You know the game Subnautica? At one point in the game, the personal assistant, electronic personal assistant pipes in and says, congratulations, you've exceeded your exercise quotient by 500%. It seems that your favorite activity is swimming. Please modify your exercise routine for uniform muscle development.
But yes, finally, you guys arrive at a silver door emblazoned with that eye symbol.
Oh, hey, it's not a stair. That's good, right?
Yeah, and I will
Maybe.
make a more detailed sketch of that sigil. Is there a lore thing that I can use on the sigil, or did we do that last week?
You can make a lore roll.
Thought you had.
I will push.
Oh,
Ouch.
Ooh, my favorite little battery.
oh.
I am useless now.
There he goes.
I am now just a.
You look like a tired little old man. Oh,
Yeah, I'm a slingshot machine. That's all I am now. My wits are now 1, and my empathy is 2.
Well, at least you didn't KO yourself right drawing a picture. That'd be hard for Chris to come up with.
Anyway, that was a hard fought one success.
So as you get a good look at this sigil, and you're kind of tracing it, kind of casting your mind back to things that you may have heard, things that you may have picked up, and then it dawns on you that it's not just the sigil of some sorceress. You remember in a tavern sometime before you got shipped to this island, overhearing somebody talking about a demon queen named Quetzal. And this is her sigil. Powerful sorceress, 500-600 years ago, part demon, part elf. Magic's unheard of by even the most learned elvish scholars. This is her sigil, and this is her tower.
Well, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, Trusty's been a little mad trying to figure out who she was.
Sorry, who is she?
Her name is Quetzal, the Demon Queen. A centuries-old sorceress of unknowable power. Currently, though, you're standing in front of a silver door.
Shall we knock?
Or perhaps ask your bird.
Shall we knock?
Argento like Caldy.
I like you too.
So we're here to get her heart.
Or find a better bargain.
We're here to find it if she's dead, because that was what was implied. If she's not, well, the terms of the contract are not good anymore.
Argenta, do you have a way in through this door?
Dora's way in.
Do you know how to open it?
Push.
Should I push you through the door? Or should I push it myself?
No, push me. He kind of like climbs around like from one of Caldy's shoulders to the other, kind of ducking away from Trustius.
Are you under the impression that trying to open normally the door is dangerous?
I'm under the impression that everything here is dangerous.
Yes, but Dora might be door too.
That'd be my guess, Hokutai.
Gonna go toward the door and see if it's locked and if it's trapped.
Yeah, give me a scouting roll.
Scouting.
Doesn't appear to be either.
I'm gonna slowly push it open.
All right. So as you start to push the door open, the first thing that hits you is the smell. It smells like iron. And then you hear this wind. And the air tastes like a rusted nail. And as you push the door open, wait, not that map. Where is it? This map.
What?
Before you see a ruined city. You look up and you see stars above you, like strange constellations that you don't recognize from back home. Everything seems to be caked in a thick gray ash. The rain that's falling seems to like turn everything into like this grayish paste. The air smells of like blood and iron. And periodically, like the wind kind of kicks up these little puffs of ash that look vaguely human. And this city seems to stretch for miles in every direction.
And they said I was a hoarder. Damn.
I don't think that's the island anymore.
She has a whole city in her wardrobe.
No one has actually walked through this door yet, have they?
Everybody is still standing at the threshold.
Okay, good. So are we planning to go in there? Or not?
I'm planning to.
If you're going in, I think I'd like to stand over here.
All right, I will. I'll let you know if it's okay.
Stop. You pay me to look after you. Tie a rope around yourself. I'll hold the end. Then you can go through the door. Just in case there's no door on the other side or something.
Trestius,
Yeah.
before we start this, do you need any willpower?
Always.
I'm maxed.
Well, we can fix that.
Right. You torture me, then I'll go in and while I'm thinking death is not necessarily such a bad idea.
With a
Sorry, I stepped away for a couple minutes quickly. So what happened? We opened the door and we saw what looked like a whole city inside a closet or inside the room.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
Goth Narnia.
Yeah, like there you go. Yes, like a ruined city.
That's
Sky,
perfect, Trip.
sky above. Although as you're kind of like taking this in, you do see that there are 3 intact buildings amongst the rubble. Each of them, basically equidistant from the doorway. Probably about maybe a quarter mile from where you are. But yeah, basically like kind of the 3 points of a triangle. They're all exactly a quarter mile from the doorway.
Is there a Jesus allegory lion in here somewhere?
Maybe?
So
All right, if anybody's got rope, tie it around my waist.
Oh, I'll borrow you first.
we must have rope somewhere. Chris, are there still stairs going up, or have we reached the top of this endless staircase?
You have reached the top of the staircase.
Okay. So what's above us?
Sky?
Like when we're standing not in the closet of hell, but when we're standing in the stairway.
A ceiling?
Okay. Does it feel like we've walked up the entire length of that tower?
Oh god, no.
So it's
Like a
just
TARDIS.
ceiling and attic space. And this closet elsewhere. Okay.
I will cast transfer on Caldy before we get into all that.
I don't see rope on my list, but Okatai has more of the nature-ish stuff, and he just vanished. Since he's the one who usually carries things like the fishing rods, I'm hoping he'll have, pardon me, at least fishing line that we can tie around Culty.
Okay.
Or, I don't know, cloth scraps from his healing bundle or whatever it is he uses. Usually unconscious by the time he gets to healing.
Right. So Trustus, you managed to transfer the willpower, no problem.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put an arrow in his teeth and kind of envelop him in my cloak. How much willpower you got, Triv?
10.
I'll take 5.
Is that all you want?
That's all I can hold.
5 it is. I'll scream a little bit.
Thank you, Colney. Let's go see if she's waiting for us.
York's trying to get back in. But yeah, Desi's not going to let Caldy walk through until he's got something tied around him that she can hold on to the other end too.
Don't you have that ability to like magically find whatever you need at just the right moment, like a piece of equipment?
Me? God, no. Caldy might.
That's Caldy or
Okatai might.
Caldy
Okatai.
does.
maybe.
Definitely not Desi. Desi's only talent is finding a fight.
No, I wasn't talking to Desi. I was talking to one of the fellow wee folk.
What talent do you want? But I've killed my wits and empathy, so I'm basically just a guy with
No,
a suitcase.
everyone's saying you need to tie yourself with a rope. I'm like, don't you have that ability to just magically pull whatever you need out of a bag or a sack or something?
Yeah, I do, but man, do I want to waste a willpower on a piece of rope? It's worth I can pull a gold worth of stuff.
Hey, rope could be very valuable.
Trustees walks to
alive.
the door. He's at full willpower. Fuck this.
Jesus.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
I'll
ah.
follow him too.
So as you enter through the doorway and into this city, there's a brief sense of vertigo as you kind of like look up, like, because you're literally going from, like, ceiling to open sky, and the stars don't look quite right. They seem almost like they're watching you back. And as you kind of like look up, you kind of like instinctively, like, okay, the stars don't look right. You start looking for like constellations you might recognize at the very least. And there seems to be only one constellation, and it looks like if you were to join the stars together, very similar to that eye symbol that you've seen on the doors.
Very zinc.
Desi looks at Ryzen and Okatai and says, I thought I was.
You thought what?
I thought I was supposed to be the stupid one. She gestures toward Trestius and Caldy with one arm, with a look of disbelief and disgust.
You're not stupid. You're just not book learned.
Yeah.
You have life
that is
experience, like I do, but I got
more
also
experience than to
experience.
walk through the door, right?
You had more sense to not walk through the door. That is correct.
Thank you.
You are so smart, SMRT.
I know you spelled that wrong.
We're going to walk through the door, aren't we?
I really don't want to.
Here's the problem. We came here to do something, and odds are what we have to do involves going in there.
Of course it does. Guys. Trustiest.
Can we hear?
Oh yeah, they're standing
Oh,
right.
cool.
She's testing.
They're right there on the other side of the door.
Yeah. Well, Desi doesn't trust that what's on the other side of the door is the same thing it's not necessarily anchored well.
Hey guys, from where you're standing, does it look like we're as close to you as like just being on the other side of the door, or does it look farther?
It literally looks like you guys are standing in the doorframe yelling at people in your front yard.
Yeah, I'm asking from their perspective if it looks the same as ours, basically.
Yeah, it does.
Is there a door from where you two are standing?
Yes, there is.
Are you coming?
I don't know. Is there a door where you two are standing to come back in this direction?
Yes, I can see you.
I wonder if we're not on the island anymore, and if that demon curse is still on us.
The stars look wrong.
Yeah.
At least from here, I'm guessing that from where you're standing, the stars still look wrong. I mean, we've been wandering half the time by the stars, or at least, staring up at them because we don't have a tent. So, yeah.
We can't balk at everything that we don't understand.
Oh, there's been a lot of shit here that I don't understand. How much of it have I balked at? Balked? Is that really a word?
Yes, I believe so.
So far, Trustius and Caldy are the only ones who've gone through.
Yep.
The guy we're
Come
so
on,
trouble.
Desi, and I
Is
offer
off
my
again.
hand. Let's go. Come on, we'll do it together.
No, we won't. We're not both fitting through that door at the same time.
Oh, suck in my gut.
I can't exactly suck in my legs. So
Fine, I'll go in and I do a big dramatic hop in.
All right.
Had a little pirouette.
There's definitely like a cold rain that's falling, and it kind of turns the ash that's around you into like a kind of a muck. And yet, still somehow, when the wind kicks up, it still blows up some loose ash. But all three of you can see Desi and Okatai still on the other side of the doorframe.
Desi, you only live once. You might as well try. Unless you prefer to live twice. But
Second time isn't necessarily living per se.
I'm pretty sure hanging around with you, I'm gonna end up living twice anyway. And yeah, I'm fine with that.
I'll ask my
Um,
for
little.
you not to do that. So
I'll
Hey,
ask my
Cody,
little.
can you write a no, do not resuscitate thing for me? So, you know, they just like, so, it's all
Sure.
legally binding, trustee.
did I really ask you to bring to
It's a
not bring
DNR/DNA. Do not.
See, only living once is all the more reason to keep trying to live.
I'll ask my little bird friend if there's anything here I should be worried about. If he knows anything about this place.
I would be worried.
You're here with me.
Yeah.
Are you worried?
Yes.
That's not reassuring.
All right. We're going to go find this Quetzal person. How are we going to? Where do we go?
I don't know.
I'm not going to lie, I was kind of expecting to see a body lying in a bed.
Yeah, I was too. I guess we'll keep following the eyes. What do you think, guys? Everyone?
Is there another one besides that constellation up in the quote unquote sky?
oh, the three buildings that I see seem equidistant. We might as well just pick one.
Chris, do those three buildings look similar to each other in design, height, etc.?
They do, actually. Now that you're looking at it specifically, they look identical.
Come along, Desi. We'll let you pick which one.
Hey, Chris, I'm curious, that constellation that we can see in the sky, how does it relate position-wise to the tower?
You would, yes, I mean, very roughly, but it would. It's really hard to say, but if you had to nail it down, you would think that it would probably be like maybe the center spire of the tower. Maybe. It's really hard to say once you start getting into non-Euclidean physics and Escher-like drawings.
Sure, right.
But to put your mind at ease, that's probably the center of the tower. Yep. There we go.
Yeah, Trustees picks the one on the left and starts going towards that.
Guys. What does it look like on that side where the store is? Like, is it a tower and I'm just walking out the front door? Is it a tent?
On the other side?
Yeah.
It's
Desi hasn't
cold.
walked through yet.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I just wanted to be clear. It's cold, rainy, windy. I can see three towers. The constellation eye thing looks to be over the central-ish tower or the center spire or something, kind of. It's hard to tell. I'm not an astronomer. So, but I mean, on this side, it's cold, rainy, windy, and ashy.
Yeah, I can see that from where I'm standing. What am I walking?
It's getting rather moist.
Yeah. What am I walking out of?
Uh,
Is it just a freestanding doorway in the middle of a path? Or is
Yeah,
there
how
a
does it look from this
building?
side? Does it look like just like a dimension door, basically, like a doorway, Chris?
no, it looks like it's the doorway to a building.
Oh, it looks like, oh, from this side where you are, it looks like the doorway into like the remnants of a building. So it looks
Thank
like
you.
you're inside another building.
Okay. Somebody's got to have a spare piece of something that we can fasten to it so we know where we have to come back to.
All right. I will spend a willpower and pull out a piece of rope.
Given the rain and the wind, something a little sturdier than a piece of paper might be better, like carving something.
Yeah. I think we're out of broken armor, so we can't really fasten that so it's a jingle thing. Wind chime?
We could just remember
Let me see what
where
I
the building is.
Yes, I
Yeah.
still got something from very early in the campaign. I got a bag of crocodile teeth from that gator thing that tried to kill me, I think. I want to see if I can fasten it to something, like whether it's in its pouch or something, just as a little marker or something.
Yeah, you can just like hang it on like the door handle, like in a dorm room.
Yeah, something obvious that we'll be able to see it and try and tie it as securely as I can, given the rain and the wind.
Sure, absolutely. There's some you can tie it right to the door handle.
Okay, I'll knock the teeth off my gear.
Perfect. So yeah, so Ryzen pulls out this little bag of crocodile teeth and kind of ties it to the door handle, marking the door.
Okay. Gonna walk in. Any second now.
So as you walk in,
Yeah, Desi finally walks in.
you meet up with Trustius and the rest of your team. Do you guys close the door behind you?
No!
Eh,
The guy's still outside. No. We've got to have something. I'll take one of my torches. I don't care. Prop this fucker open.
Okay. And as you're doing that, Okatai kind of bends down, gets like a good scent of the bag of crocodile teeth, which is probably fairly rank since they're just pulled out of the mouth of a crocodile and thrown into a bag for the last month.
The bag wiggles on its own.
they were worse 3 weeks ago. It's getting better.
You guys are just nose blind. That's all.
Maybe.
But it is distinctive enough that Okatai will be able to use his wolf consensus to track back to this bag. And then you kind of take a look around. You're like, okay, 3 buildings, all look the same, all equidistant. Trustius starts heading off towards the one on the left. It's eerily quiet as you make your way through. And every once in a while, you kind of the wind kind of picks up a little bit. And you see the ashes kind of lift up, even though they're wet and mucky, kind of lift up and form into a vaguely human shape before falling apart and dissipating again. When they do that, very briefly, the wind's tone changes. Sounds almost like a almost like a cry, like a moan, as that body shape forms and then dissipates. And this changing of the pitch of the wind is timed with the formation of those shapes.
Does that mean anything to Trustius?
Trustius, you can give me a lore roll.
Is that creeping anyone else out? You guys are seeing that and hearing that too, right?
Oh, Trustius, Mr. Necromancer. That's not wind. That's the sound of the dead trying to regain a corporeal form.
Nice town.
Think I'll keep that to myself? give it 20 minutes to get Desi through a door.
And just kind of out of instinct, kind of like, reach down and kind of like feel some of the ashes in your fingers. And that's the sort of residue that's left after a body has been burned.
Oh, he'd know. He's done that a bunch.
Yeah. So all of this ash that's coating everything in this city.
Thousands have died here. Tens of thousands, perhaps.
Okay.
The veil between life and death is thin. We should be careful.
Like not walking through a door into a strange place, you mean? That kind of careful? Because I think we're past that.
I thought so as well. Apparently not.
As much. Tens of thousands of dead people. Okay.
Potentially. It's hard to tell. Civilizations rise and fall over time. You don't see them. Your lives are very brief.
Short. Yeah.
But
You
let's
live
find
long,
out
life
what
sucks.
happened. Try not to kill anything unless I tell you.
The only thing we've seen so far that's alive is us.
I'll try to hold myself back.
Not so much. There's things trying to form.
The Howley swirly stuff, that's something trying to do something. On purpose.
Something dead trying to be alive. Not sure if they can here. I'd advise us find this mistress, this sorceress, as soon as we can.
Yeah, I'd rather not spend much time here.
And Drestius has got to keep on walking. He is full on willpower. He's full on strutting his way through. Definitely not
The old Saturday Night Fever strat, huh?
Yeah, not the Trustius you guys are used to. Like his head's held high, his eyes are glowing. He's just, I'm going to find this fucking sorceress.
Look at that. He's so happy to be surrounded by dead things.
You could tell when Trustius has a lot of willpower. Props his head up.
Yeah, he raises his eyes.
Right. So as you approach this building, periodically out of the corners of your eyes, you do see things moving in the ruins that seem to be trying to follow you. Oh, one sec, somebody at the door.
That's weird.
Amazon.
Jehovah's Witness.
They never ring the bell. Oh, hey.
Someone with the Jesus allegory lion.
We need more lions.
Well, we've already killed a dinosaur. Sure, let's find a lion. Maybe we can get a lion for our druid ranger.
You kill one dinosaur, and no one will ever let you live it down.
Stampy! I've never gotten over.
Hey, I'm back.
We spent like 2 weeks trying to get that thing home.
So you approach this building, and again, it has a silver door emblazoned with that symbol of an eye in front of it.
Well, shall I go through this one too? What you thinking? I'll ask the bird.
This is danger.
Well, I laugh at danger. Ha ha ha. And I knock.
So when you knock on the door, the sound, like, it sounds dead. It sounds like the sound doesn't seem to travel when you knock on the door. But it does push in ever so slightly.
Nice. Just so everybody knows, my wits are down to 1. Caldy's pretty stupid right now.
Mm-hmm. I can tell.
Well, I will peek in because I have night vision.
Right. So as you kind of peek through the door, there's definitely a coldness to the air inside this door. And it looks like the walls and ceiling beyond this door are like highly polished silver. Kind of like look at the walls, look at the ceiling. Then when you look at the floor is a deep red color.
Sorry, did we go inside or did we just knock?
No, when Culdy knocked, the door opened ever so slightly and he kind of peered in. And give you a scouting roll, Culdy.
You're asking a lot. If I push it, I will pass out. So I'm not going to push it.
It seems fine.
Yeah, come on in. The water's fine. And I'll strut in.
So as Culdy kind of pushes open the door, it is dark inside. With a little bit of kind of grayish light that's filtering in from the doorway. You guys can see silver walls, silver ceiling, like highly polished. The floor, like a deep crimson color. And as Culdy kind of steps forward, the floor underneath it, like specifically under his foot, kind of liquefies and ripples and starts to solidify away. Like as it gets away from his foot, it solidifies again.
Gross.
What's he actually standing on?
Well, he's standing on the floor, but to Desi, you're well acquainted. That's blood.
Oh yeah, that's definitely blood. You're not gonna want to walk through that.
So wait, the blood is
that
like
enough?
so the floor has got like a layer of blood on it, and it's moving when away from Caldy when he takes a step.
As you look at it, it's more like it's solid, like solid blood, until the moment his foot touches it, and in which case it liquefies, and as the ripple moves away from his foot, it resolidifies.
Oh, that's weird.
And also, Culdy, since you're inside, and you have dark vision, you can peer further in, and this corridor beyond the door, this like highly polished mirror-like surface, you can make out that about 10, 15, 20 feet down, it splits into like a T-junction.
Okay.
And as you kind of turn back to tell people, your breath seems to mist in the air, and once it's like a foot or so away from you, it seems to just kind of solidify and hang there in the air.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm gonna
Uh,
get
You
it.
should try to leave.
I keep walking.
Oh God.
So Caldy starts to walk deeper in, and as he does, you guys can all see, like, every time he takes a step, the floor liquefies, it kind of ripples away, solidifies, liquefies, ripples away, solidifies. And he's leaving like this little trail of breath in the air as he goes.
Is he leaving weird little, not bloody footprints?
Yes.
Okay. I can't see the way you do. Shit.
Goldie,
Jesse's gonna
she's
light a
not
torch.
hearing.
I don't need to know if you need me to roll for the torch, Chris.
Yes, roll for a torch.
Yay!
And Caldy, as you get to that T junction, it goes left and right. You kind of peer down left, peer down right. They both go about 15, 20 feet, and then they turn into T junctions.
T junctions. Jeez, I hate T junctions. All right, guys, if you're not coming, I'm just going to choose the left passage each time.
Or perhaps
4 times
come
since you
back
take
to
me
us.
back, right?
Come back here first and let us look.
All right, well, I'll come back.
Good. That is the weirdest fucking floor. And your breath is like it's cold, but it's not moving.
Well, that's fine, right? That gives us a way to follow our track our way back.
2, in theory, with your little not bloody trail. Yeah, this place creeps me out. This is weirder than slicing people in half. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's different. But
Mm-hmm.
perhaps we can figure out what's happening here. Trustius has Blood Magic 3. Does this mean anything to him?
This is beyond your understanding. Like, whatever it is, the blood is solidified until it's not. Give me a lore roll, but you're going to need more than one success.
Is this something the book could help with?
The book knows all.
God damn it. I haven't healed from the last one. Fuck it. Let's go. Got lots of willpower. Everything's fine. Gonna push it.
Fine, right up until it's not.
Oh, I broke my book.
Ooh. Is the book actually
Oh no!
is the book actually broken?
Did you drop it in the blood?
Now I need to look.
I don't know if it can be broken, but
Ooh, the book is actually broken.
that's probably for the best.
Right. So you pull out your book. Kind of like looking through it, trying to see if there's anything that might indicate what this is. And as you're flipping through the pages start to flip further and further and further, faster and faster, flipping on their own. At first you think like, oh, stupid wind. But it is flipping through on its own. And new writing appears on the last page that says, "Thank you." And then the book bursts into bluish flame and disintegrates.
I mean, blue's better than green. We've learned that.
Love this town.
Delete that thing. Okay. Oof. Oof.
What the hell was that?
What? Mm-mm. That's not good, right? That's bad.
Yes, I believe so.
I mean, good news is you hadn't really been relying on it all that much lately. It burst into flame. And you
More
haven't been able
importantly,
to-
it didn't give any insight into what's going on in this building.
It did or it didn't?
It did not.
You kind of got a weird look on your face for a second, right before it went, blue poof.
It'll be fine.
It didn't do something to you, right?
Not to my
Like,
knowledge.
I don't know. Okay. Okay, that's fine then. I don't know, magic stuff. I just wanted to make sure that it didn't, like, I don't know, stab you with a weird thorn from its spine that we didn't know existed, or give you a nasty paper cut with infection or something. Like, that's the weird kind of expression you had there for a second.
I believe there's something else trying to kill us. But
Like,
we'll deal with it when it comes.
I don't think anything we run into in here is going to be physical enough for me to be useful.
Also, that book is a shame. A great deal of knowledge.
A pretty good shield, just in case.
Regardless, we need to find this sorceress.
Yep.
Chris, is there anything actually living here? Or is everything dead?
You haven't seen anything living.
Like not a plant, not a piece of grass, nothing.
Nothing.
Love this place. Or this is terrible.
Just us. This is so out of our depth right now.
Want to make camp?
Not in here. I mean, I know I've probably smelled worse at the end of the fight, but Mm.
Yeah, York just posted to the Discord. Yes, Okatai definitely feels uncomfortable here.
You and me
How,
both, buddy.
how bad can it be in here?
Trust is like when I level up, I'm gonna place like this. This is so good.
It's like Disneyland. So you were gonna turn left?
I was going to
Right.
keep turning left. I figured if I turn left 4 times, it should take me in a square and back me where I began.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't want to get lost.
You you walked off into the dark and then said, "I'm going left," as though that made sense.
Oh, there's little T branches. It branches off of T's constantly.
Now that makes more sense. Wait, can you see the whole room?
I can see in the dark.
Well, yeah, I know, but I don't know how long that goes, and I don't know how big that room is. So,
Well, I can see that it branches off in a T, like a T, everywhere I look. That's the problem. Unless I go around corners, I'm not going to be able to see anything else.
yeah, but the thing about turning left all the time is that, like, when I like, because Desi does not want to step in that room. She's got bad experiences with tombs lately. When she like holds her torch in, can she actually see all 4 walls?
You can see, basically, it's a corridor that goes forward about like 20 feet, and then it branches left, right.
Oh, this feels like the tomb all over again. I don't like this at all.
But I mean, the walls are highly polished silver, so your torchlight does brighten up considerably more than you would think.
That's good. Yeah, if you're going left all the time, it theoretically should take you right back, depending on, I suppose, how far left.
How big is this building, Chris?
From the outside, it's probably 60 feet on the side, roughly square.
And the inside?
You can see the corridor that goes forward about 15 feet before it branches.
So it seems to match more or less. Or no reason to believe that it doesn't.
No reason to believe it doesn't.
Not like the Narnia closet to hell.
Well, if I were a sorcerer, and I am, and I had a realm like this, I would set up obstacles before someone could meet me. Perhaps that's what's happening.
I was going to ask if we can do an insight or something to see if there's like illusions here that can be pierced.
You try real hard, but it is solid as the day is long. You're confident that it is not illusionary.
Well, then the only way forward is, well, forward.
In which T juncture?
Caldy likes left. That'll do.
Right.
All right, so we swipe left.
Okay. So who else is going in?
I will go.
Dresties is going.
Desi will go, but she really doesn't like it. I am the reluctant back wall. But, torch.
Desi's taking up the rear for the first time ever. 45 sessions.
Taking up the rear, torch in hand.
really does not want to be here.
So as you kind of cautiously start to make your way into this complex, and the torch does throw off a fair amount of light because of the polished silver, and kind of take the first T junction, drive a little bit, take the next T junction, and around the third bend, who's in front?
Probably Caldy and Trestius.
Yeah, I would think so. I can see, and this is your realm.
Right.
Yeah.
So as you round the corner on like the kind of the third junction, partway like in the middle of the corridors are probably, let's say they're 10 feet wide. So in the middle of the corridor, there's a person. They look like they're kind of slightly bent over to the side, kind of standing on one leg. Shield in one hand, sword in the other. Just motionless. Looks like there is a large bite mark taken out of the back of their neck. But yeah, just kind of frozen there on one leg, almost like a really bizarre like wax statue.
Can we tell what kind of bite? Is it like a shark bite or a snake bite or
Can give me a healing roll.
a healing? This should be cute.
Can I make a shot at that too?
Sure.
Trestius like, nope, he's dead.
And Ryzen and Desi and Okta, you guys kind of catch up as the two of them have stopped to look at this body.
Oh.
I'll have a look.
Okay.
Is it facing us or facing away or facing a wall?
It's facing away from you, kind of facing down this like longer corridor than the ones that you've seen before. But yeah,
And it's gonna
Ryzen
bite.
got a bite mark on the back of its neck.
Desi turns around.
Okay, Ryzen, you notice two things. That is definitely that is the bite of a large cat, or other large predator, and basically, animals like that attack from surprise and sever the spine by biting the back of the neck. The body itself, I mean, you don't get terribly close unless you want to. It does.
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay. There are some defensive wounds. There are like claw marks like scraped down the shield. Like defensive wounds. There's a little bit of blood on the sword. But other than that, this poor soul is just like a statue.
Is it human size?
Yep, it is in fact a human.
Does it have armor on and other gear like backpacks, pouches, that kind of?
Absolutely does. He's got like leather armor. He's got like a backpack. He's got a pouch. Got a.
So this guy likely died from an ambush predator, like a cat or something like that. So I don't know if that would be around here somewhere or what. So, but in my admittedly not expert medical opinion, he was whacked by an ambush predator.
And actually, since you're taking such a close look at him, you do notice, like, I mean, his gear looks decent. I mean, It's obviously, somebody who's taking care of their stuff. But what kind of draws your eyes is the dagger that's tucked into his belt has like a lapis lazuli inlay, so like a bluish stone inlay on the handle of the dagger that's tucked into his belt.
Looks like he has a nice knife, but I'm hesitant to even touch him to search him in case he like springs to life or something like a animated zombie thing or something.
I'm with you. Can we get by this guy? Is he blocking our way?
Oh no, you can get by him. Like I said, the hallway's like 10 feet wide, and he's kind of in the center of it, so you can skirt around him easily enough.
Oh, that's the bird. What's going on with this guy?
Looks dead.
Yeah, dead people don't usually stand in the middle of hallways unless they've been talking to Trestius.
Don't know. I could go ask him.
Yeah, go ask him. Do you mind?
No.
Don't get yourself in trouble, though.
Okay. I won't.
Desi's still watching their backs, like watching
Okay.
back, because she doesn't want something to take a bite of the back.
Right. What do you want me to ask him?
Ask him if you know. I'd like to know who he is. What happens to him? What happened to him? Why he's here, and if he can direct us to the sorceress.
That's a lot. What one thing do you want me to ask him?
Directions to the sorceress.
All right. And then he kind of like flaps his little skeletal wings and starts to fly at first towards the body and then kind of swoops upwards and then disappears.
What?
Minute or so passes, and then there's the flapping of wings, and he kind of like flies, like appears and flies back to your shoulder.
What's the verdict?
He says that the person that hired him said he had to find the missing parts of the sorceress.
Well, Trestius, this is your realm. What's up?
Which parts?
He didn't say.
Why did you leave when you went to ask him? Isn't he right here?
His body's here. His spirit is where dead people go.
Oh, you can go where dead people go?
Uh-huh.
Can you go where Jakuz is?
I don't even know who that is.
Can you go where the sorceress is?
Is she dead?
I don't know.
I can go to where dead people go, and I can talk to dead people, and I can ask them the thing.
One thing. Okay.
I
You know, you're a very remarkable bird. I really like you.
next time I go, I could ask somebody something else.
But you can't ask this guy anything else, right?
No, I could next time I go.
Oh, so it's one question per trip, not one question per person.
I can ask more questions, but I forget answers sometimes. So one question is best.
One. Yeah, I understand that. I got that. Since
Can you find the individual's name?
I can ask him next time. Unless he has a book where he wrote his name, maybe. Sometimes people do that. But it's a long trip, so I can't go for a while.
For us, how long did it seem like he was gone?
Just a minute or two.
To us, it seemed like you were only gone like a minute or two.
Mm. But I have little wings, so it takes a long time.
Well, let's search the body and see what we can see.
And just if you want to make note, Trevor, mechanically, Argento allows you to speak to the dead, but he can only do it once per week. But he doesn't need to be anywhere near the body or have something that belongs to them or anything of that nature. He can fly to the land of the dead and ask a question.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's kind of like would have been better for you.
I just need names. If we had his name, I could speak with him. Well, let's see if we can find it. It might be on his person somewhere.
So, Trustius, as you reach out to start to search the body, as soon as you touch it, blood starts to pump out of that wound on the back of his neck. His limbs regain normal, like, flexibility. He collapses to the ground, obviously very, very dead.
That's odd.
But I will get everybody to give me an insight roll.
Now you're just teasing me.
I was just going to ask, when we actually touched the body, did it feel like exceptionally cold?
Actually, Trustius, when you touched the body, it did not feel cold at all. Felt like normal human temperature.
They'll pass that on.
Huh. What? Because he made an insight roll? What the hell?
All right. So, I can roll for Okatai. One success. So those of you who failed, so Kuldi and Trustius, both take a point of damage to wits.
Oof.
I collapse. Caldy is down.
What just happened?
Basically, fear-based attack is this basically body just collapses, blood starts to flow. As soon as it like gets away from Trustius, though, the blood stops flowing. It stays in whatever position it fell in, that sort of thing.
Desi will kind of startle a bit and then like bend down and pick Caldy up. When Caldy falls to the floor, two questions there. Does the bloody floor thing is still happening, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so when he falls to the floor, like, does all the blood under him move away from him?
It doesn't so much move away from him. It's like if he was to fall in liquid blood and it kind of like ripples and sloshes.
Right, but it happens like the split second before he hits it and solidifies once it's not.
Yeah, about 5 or 6, maybe 7 inches away from him.
Oh, okay. Does it do the same thing around the corpse?
No.
Oh, Okay. Not that that makes a whole lot of sense to Desi, but it's something that she would note. Yeah, Desi will pick Culty up and look at Trustius weird, like, what the fuck did you just do? I should probably say it too. The fuck did you just do?
I'm not sure.
And Trevor, if you want to look on Culty's character sheet, I added a thing under on your combat tab because horror trauma.
Oh, okay. How bad is it?
So for the next 4 days,
Holy shit.
Trustius, give me a lore roll.
Okay. I don't have my book anymore. And my wits are really damaged, so good luck. Oof.
All right. So, kind of thinking about this, I mean, you're a sorcerer, you're used to weird shit. And you kind of think, okay, the body's not cold, it's not frozen. And yet, you can see people's breath in the air, and everything seems to kind of solidify, 5, 6, 7 inches away from your body. Doesn't seem to be affecting you. None
Time?
of it is time.
Yeah, it's time.
Seems like when things come in contact with still living beings, they're snapped out of this time freeze. But other than that, like things are frozen in as much as their molecules aren't moving, but they're not cold. They are stuck in time.
Interesting.
Interesting what?
Very hard to explain, but everything here is stopped. Just stopped. Our presence allows it to continue. Does that make any sense? This man could have been here for 100 years, for all we know.
14 minutes. I don't understand.
Question is, how do we either A, how does this happen to us, or B, how do we avoid this happening to us?
It's hard to say. Magic hair is so far outside my knowledge. It's impressive. But, and I'm only theorizing, if there are parts of the sorcerer that needs to be collected, sorceress that needs to be collected, I would expect each of these buildings would contain a part. And we're looking for the heart. Whether that's here or not, we don't know. But if it is here, us touching it, our presence, perhaps could start it again. And that could be a problem.
Corpses don't.
Sorry. Didn't quite hear that.
Yeah, I know, and I'm not making a whole lot of sense, maybe. So, I'm gonna try to make this make sense. So, when we're walking along, because you said time is stopped, right?
Until we arrive, yes.
Right, okay. So, when we touch things, time starts moving.
For the thing we touched.
For
I
what we
believe.
touch. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So that's why, like, the blood the floor, it moves away, kind of like, under a squelchy boot. But then it stops again a couple of inches away from you. Because it's outside of whatever live time you're taking up. And then when Colby fell, like, it moved the same way it does when we are walking. It moved away from his body when he fell over. That's why our breath hangs in the air after we've walked away from it a bit, because it's stuck outside the time that surrounds us. I feel like I'm drunk right now explaining this, but the corpse didn't. The blood didn't do the ripply thing around it when it fell. Because it doesn't have any life. Right? Is that
Or it's been dead for some time, yes.
long enough that it didn't have any life left in it? Obviously, it was dead. So it doesn't really matter whether it was dead for 2 minutes or it was dead for 20 centuries. It was dead, so it didn't have any lifetime left. Lifetime? Get it?
I'm
No?
curious
Yeah,
where
yeah.
you're going with this.
I don't know. I'm just trying to make this place make sense in my head, because it's fucking weird, Trustius. This
It's
place is
probably best
every
that you
kind
don't
of
try.
wrong. Thanks. That's great.
It's probably easier just to find the sorceress's bits than go from there.
Well, it's reassuring to know that if any of us falls over, the easiest and fastest way to know if we're dead or not is whether or not the bloody floor moves away from it.
And while you guys are having this discussion, Ryzen kind of pulls out his little poem book of dwarven poems. Starts kind of like, reading one to Caldy. Putting in, enough. You guys are like, you know what? Shit is weird. Shit is really weird. But, some things are constant. Ryzen finds like the most kind of like, adult like poem in the entire book. Kind of embellishes a bit. Like some things are consistent enough to buoy Caldy's spirit, and the performance roll gets him back 1 wits.
Yay!
But so Trevor, you saw the note that I left on Caldy's sheet there?
Yes.
Yeah. You don't know where you are. You don't know who you are.
Do I know who these people are?
You don't know
Oh, God.
You don't know who these people are.
I look around. I scream and I take off running.
All right.
Caldy.
Is there any way I can keep a hold of him, or is he just too tiny and squirmy a thing for me to hold on to?
You can absolutely make an unarmed... actually, Caldy, make a move roll.
It's actually better than my wits right now.
Oh, he is a squirrely little fucker. So Caldy takes off running.
I can't keep a hold of him? Okay.
No, because of the... Actually, Desi, give me a move roll. Basically, he made the move.
I'm wondering
so
because
you don't get an attack of opportunity because he succeeded on the move roll. But if you succeed on your move roll, then you can push yourself a little bit faster to catch up with him to still get an attack to try to grapple him.
okay, I was wondering because I've got Brawler. I've only got rank 1, but it means that all of my unarmed attacks are modified by +1.
Yep. You just have to catch him.
Okay.
Because basically,
Fast footwork only helps me if I'm dodging.
yep. So basically, he uses both of his actions to move. You can keep up with him, but then you have no actions left to grapple him with, and you'll just be chasing him. So you need to, kind of like in Twilight 2000, you need to make the mobility roll to move an extra zone. So you need to succeed on a move roll to be able to be fast enough to catch up to him and grab him.
Yeah, because I got melee charge, but Debbie Desi doesn't want.
What,
Desi
you dye your hair?
bleached it. She doesn't want to punch him or shove him, and those two of the things that I could use that on. Shit, little squirrely bastard.
I mean, we have a werewolf, so
Yeah,
he's only going so far.
that's true.
All right, so success gets you 1 extra zone, so that is enough to try to grapple him. So that is an unarmed combat roll.
Caldy, get back here!
Ah! Who the hell are you? Get off me! Get off me! Get off me! Where am I? What the hell? Shit! Shit!
Is that a grapple attack?
It is.
Oh. I still don't get to use melee charge, do I?
Nope.
Damn it. Do I want to shove him? No, I'd probably break him.
Get me back to the mall! Jesus Christ! I will. You give me back to the mall. I will give you 10 gold pieces right now. Give me back to the mall.
So you do manage to, like, he makes a break for it. Desi just, like, runs him down.
Longer legs.
Yeah, kind of grabs him, hauls him off his feet.
I feel like I'm picking a toddler up by his...
I'm feeling around for my wallet. It was like, who stole my wallet?
It's like I'm picking up a toddler by his overalls. Like...
Yeah, I mean, technically, Caldy can try to escape, but the odds of him succeeding in a might roll versus Desi succeeding in a might roll are slim.
I want to try it anyway.
We'll give you 1 shot.
I mean, it's not 0, so we might as well try.
All right, Desi, make a might roll. You need to get more than 1 success.
I don't suppose my brawler would count for that.
No.
Damn. I only got 1 success.
So unless you push it, Caldy is going to get away.
I can follow his footsteps. I would rather not push it in this place because
Probably follow my
I don't-
breath.
I don't trust what's going to happen in the next hour. So
All right, so you grab him. He kind of like twists and then he like tries to bite you, and you're like, "You little," kinda,
Fucker.
and you drop him.
you
And
asshole.
he takes off running again.
Probably left his dentures.
Desi will continue chasing after this rapscallion.
All right, Okatai. Find him.
It's not a challenge, he's leaving a trail. 2!
Yeah, pardon me. I'm going with the hunter. Thanks.
Yeah, I see how it is. Mm-hmm.
Going with the hunter until it's time for something to get slashed in half in front of you.
Yeah, I'm going with the 2 healers.
See,
You chase after the goblin.
Yes, Desi will go off chasing him. And she'll be yelling things like, "You pay me to look after you. What the fuck are you doing? Get back here."
All right.
And variations thereof.
Okay.
This is how you find a blast fight.
Make enough noise that it comes to you? I don't like that plan.
Charging headlong through a dungeon.
don't like that plan at all.
All right. Is everybody following Caldy, or?
Oh yeah, I would expect so.
Yep.
Okay. Just wondering how many ways we're splitting the party.
Preferably 0.
Okay.
Boy, were you wrong.
So as Caldy just kind of runs through this maze, and periodically, kind of skids around a corner and slams into another body in, whatever state it was killed in, and as soon as he touches it, time starts to flow into it again, and blood starts to spew. Like one of the bodies is like missing an arm, and as soon as Caldy bumps into it, the blood starts to spray. It's a horror show as you go through this. Obviously, you are not the first ones through here, but eventually you kind of come to Caldy. You kind of run and you kind of see a door. Okay, go through the door. The rest of the party's not terribly far behind you. And it seems to open up into what looks like a little chapel. Two things draw your attention right away. One is the young half-elven girl. Probably looks like she's no more than 10 or 11. Who, as the door bursts open and this goblin comes in, lets out a screech and basically runs and hides behind what looks like an altar.
Okay. I will close the door behind me and try to put a pew in front of it. So they're after me. Do you know the way out of here?
The other thing that draws your attention, Caldy, are the two large, tigers that look like they're made out of glass.
Are they moving?
Oh, yes.
I go back the other direction.
Okay.
I just boot it right past the people that were chasing me.
All right, so as you guys around the corner, you see Caldy kind of duck into this room, and then
Come out shrieking.
And there's shrieking from inside the chapel as well.
Wait, that's something else alive. The fuck? And Desi will
that?
try to grab Caldy again as he tries to run past her.
Okay.
God, it's like chasing a
So
child
move-
to a department store.
move versus whatever, right?
Yeah, so it's a move roll from Caldy.
I bumped up my move recently.
You
Right.
bastard.
So yeah, Caldy comes barreling by.
Yeah, right on by. Little fucker.
Can I
God
trip him with one
damn,
of my
it's quick
clubs?
for an old man.
Sorry, what was that, Mark?
Can I try to trip him with one of my clubs?
Sure. Yes.
Knock me right out. I am useless, man. You might as well just knock me right out.
Is it a melee?
It is a melee attack. Caldy is not a monster, so Dragon Fighter doesn't apply.
Oh, a hammer fight.
Hammer Fighter applies.
This is different now. You're supposed to click each level of hammer fighter, each level of the modifier.
Yeah, because they give you different things. Ooh.
Oh, night.
Oh, that is a solid hit.
Clink.
Spectacular.
Specifically, though, that was a trip, not a bonk on the head. So you do manage to successfully kind of trip Caldy, and then Desi can just kind of come and put her foot on his chest or whatever.
I'm not gonna step on Caldy. He's an old man. He's frail and tiny. He disappeared.
Yeah, she's not Lady Dragonesque or whatever with a magical fetish or whatever.
She'll. I'm not wearing high heels.
Hey guys, I gotta step away
yeah.
for a minute. I'll be right back. But this was awesome.
We got to get Desi a white dress and a big hat or something and some heels.
Jeez, no. This is about as far from a damsel as you get. She will though, like, go down to one knee and like plant her hand in the center of his chest to hold him in place. Stop running! The fuck! And kind of like
Dizzy.
clench her fist in his clothes to haul him back to his feet, but she's not letting his feet touch the floor, because if she does, the little fucker runs. Yes, Trustius? What screamed?
He just points his finger to these ice tigers at the front of the room.
Yeah.
Does he turn her head and spot them for the first time? Fuck.
And the two tigers, and Ryzen. Tigers are definitely ambush predators that kill their prey by biting the backs of their necks. But they are deliberately placing themselves between the doorway to this little chapel area, which is probably the center of the maze, and the young girl. They're definitely in like a protective, defensive stance. She is cowering behind that altar.
Can we see her?
Vaguely.
Okay.
Wetzel.
Go.
We don't mean to harm you. We're here to help.
What now?
Away.
We'll stand wherever you'd like. It's the past, right? Time has stopped. This is Quetzal when she's young. It's my guess, at least.
Sure.
Keep the monsters away.
The tigers. They seem to be protecting you.
Sorry, I'm back.
I'm holding you like a toddler at the mall.
Are they harming you?
They're my friends. They keep the monsters away.
I don't believe any of us are monsters. Well, most of us, at least, are not.
There's monsters with you?
I believe everything in this room, in this building, is no longer a threat to you.
I think your tiger's got the monsters already. We're just people.
What about them? And she points at like Kaldi and Okatai.
Oh, these are friends.
Not friends.
I don't even know how I got here.
They're monsters.
You're fine, Cody.
No, they're just different.
Wolf can eat people. Goblins steal kids.
He's smaller than you.
They come at night and
Couldn't
they
steal you if he
They come at night and they steal babies.
I don't steal
Cody
babies.
doesn't. Cody's good. He keeps watch over us at night and protects us.
Caldy's
Like
looking
the
around like,
tigers do to you.
who's this Caldy they're talking about?
There are no good monsters.
Yeah, but he's not a monster. And neither is Okatai. Okatai's a healer.
It's a wolf. They eat people.
That one doesn't.
They all do.
Carrots sometimes. No. Not that one.
Desi, give me a manipulation roll.
Desi looks so confused. She is not a mothery figure. Which one?
Manipulation.
Oh, God. Or because I'm human.
God damn it, girl! You'll do what I say.
Because Desi might not be a mom, but she's big and female and kind of imposing like a mom. So I would like to use something else, please.
What would you like to use?
Desi doesn't have gentle voice, unlike like Evelyn. So I think might and strength. Like
I was gonna say,
Desi
don't you have a
looks-
talent? Don't you have a talent that lets you
Yeah.
swap out something for,
That's,
and use?
that's what I'm using. Desi's got that big and imposing kind of. If I say it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. Mom, look.
Shake the goblet. Listen, lady.
All right, give me a roll. Spend the willpower.
That mother of authority figure. Oh, God damn it! This I will push.
Okay.
2 might. You're gonna push it. Oh wow.
Oh,
Oh god.
Oh, fuck!
Yes, we're crashing here for the night.
Hopefully.
so yeah, so you kind of take on that demeanor, that like I've had enough shit for the day demeanor.
That overprotective mother of doom.
And she kind of like peeks out from behind the altar, and you guys can all see, like even without making an insight roll, like she is scared. She is probably the most scared you have ever seen anyone. Like her lips are trembling, you know, practically on the verge of tears. And she just looks at Desi and says, like, "You promise the monsters won't hurt me."
Promise.
Chris, does she look scared of me?
She looks... Actually, give me an insight roll. So yeah, she looks scared of all of you. More so Kaldi and Okatai. But I mean, Ryzen, you're used to reading crowds. You're used to reading people. She doesn't have any other emotion. There's no like curiosity. There's no like, what's that? There's no, you know, who the heck are these people? There's no like, there's nothing other than fear. And as she'll come up from behind the altar. And as she kind of walks forward, the two tigers kind of flank her. And they are made out of glass or ice, something transparent. But as they get closer, Trustius and Okatai, like the hair on the back of your neck starts to stand up. You feel almost like this electrical charge, and you realize that those things are made of solidified magical energy.
Oh my god. I would like to try a thing though.
All right, what would you like to try?
I believe we're out of combat.
We are.
I'm going to, and this may be ill-advised, but I'm going to try to use Still the Blood to calm Quetzal.
All right.
who I assume is still Quetzal. If she's only, and my thought is she's only experienced fear, so taking that fear away might give us something.
Better make this rule. Or we're fucked.
Try.
No pressure.
I could save cast it.
That'd be nice.
How's this work? Okay. So I don't need a big power level. I will save cast it. And I did blow myself up.
So as she starts to walk forward, and you kind of reach out, try to like, you know, not necessarily quell the fear because stir the blood is bringing emotions out, but seeing if you can bring out like a countering emotion.
Confidence or
Yeah, confidence. Would be a good
Safety.
one. Yeah. There's nothing there.
like nothing at all.
Nothing at all. You can give me a lore roll.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to ask if I could do a lore roll based on my perception of her only having one emotion.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not going to play.
So Tressius, as she kind of walks forward, and she's walking towards Desi. And she walks like right up to Desi. She looks at you. She's like, "You promise you'll keep me safe from the monsters."
She'll try. We all will.
She's still looking at Desi.
That's my hint to not promise to something we don't understand.
Yeah, Desi's picking that up. She's just not sure what to do with it. I'll do the same thing for you that I do for them. They're my friends. And I try my hardest to keep them safe. All the time.
And she'll kind of like reach out and like kind of grab Desi's hand. Say, "Keep me safe."
What does that feel like?
Well, as
It
she,
does it feel like a normal hand, or did I just get gripped by a bolt of lightning?
there was definitely like an energy charge to it, but as she grabs your hand, there's like this flash of energy, and you find yourself standing outside where the building was. It is no longer there. She is no longer there. Trustius, with your lore roll, you realize the reason why you couldn't find any other emotions is because there weren't any. That was, in your estimation, the sorceress's fear. Then it,
Her fear or her past.
her fear.
Okay, so I got you.
And with the lore roll, you know, the journal that the adventurer had, what the adventurer told Argento is about having to find the missing pieces. He wasn't talking about anything physical.
God damn.
It's the things she had to give up for power. But on that realization, I think we'll call it there. That seems like a good place to end it.
Sheesh.
Can we take
Can
a
you
rest
say-
for like 4 days?
Do I know you?
So I'm outside the building.
All of you are. The building is no longer there.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant that like Desi alone had been teleported off on her own outside the weird little building we were in, and she had no idea where anyone else was. Okay. Is
Oh
the
my
girl there?
Oh my God, we're after the heart of the sorceress.
Mm-hmm. Is the
That's
girl
fucking
there,
terrible.
or is she gone too?
She is gone too.
Okay. I've
But
done my part. I took fear.
Oh,
Good luck.
I was gonna ask.
Enjoy, buddy. Ray's a sweet talker. Don't worry.
Chris, I was gonna ask, is it just the one tower that disappeared, or is all of them, or the whole cityscape is gone? And what?
Just the one building that you went to. The two other buildings are still there.
oh, this is fucking terrible. I mean, it's awesome, but it's terrible.
But with that, now that you guys have come to a realization, we will do some XP. Participate in the game session, yes. Everybody gets 1 XP. Travel through at least 1 hex on the game map. No, because where you traveled was not on the map.
It's a whole new hex on a whole new map in a whole new place. Chris, come on.
Because the hex wasn't on the map.
It does specify. Did you travel through at least 1 hex on the game map?
It's on another map in another world. So
The worlds don't count.
Discover new adventure site. No, this is all the same one. Defeat 1 or more monsters. Yes, you got past both the demons and the aspect of fear without combat. Find a treasure with 1 gold or more. No, because nobody took the dagger. Build a function. No. Activate pride. No. Suffer from your dark secret.
Every day, but no.
Nobody risked their life. Extraordinary actions.
Caldy has got us past those demons without a combat. I mean, that's something.
That was pretty good. That was quick thinking.
That's definitely.
I was surprised by it, but I mean, it really worked out.
That was me being exhausted and not thinking right. So maybe I should spend more time like that.
Perfect. So that would be 2 XP and 3 for Cody.
Who can't spend XP because he's got amnesia.
You can spend amnesia, you just don't know what you're capable of doing. Maybe you're a great warrior, who knows?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not. As coordinated as I was as tripping over a club.
Perfect.
Hey,
I mean, if he hit you, he would have killed you.
yeah.
Probably not. Cody's pretty lucky. All right, but yes, we will pick up with you guys figuring out what to do next. Next
Oh,
week.
this is so bad. Thank you, Chris. We'll see you on the
Thanks.
next one.
Perfect.
All right, we're playing Sunday or Friday.
Pathfinder on Sunday.
All right.
And
Oh, I should level up my character then, right?
No, I think we did level 3 and you guys aren't level 4 yet.
Okay, so I'm good.
You're good.
Okay, it's the other one it's Barnacle I have to level up.
Yep.
Okay.
Twilight 2K on Saturday for some of you.
Perfect.
Great work.
Yeah, I'm not
Cheers.
in that one. Have
All
a
right.
good one, everyone.
Yeah, have a good night.
Night,
take care,
guys.
everybody.
Take care, Mark.
Enjoy your long weekend.
Yeah, hope your weekend's good, Mark.
Thanks. Hopefully, everyone is too. Take care.